Welcome to Rebel Revenue Latte, where we break the rules of traditional B2B marketing and make it work. Let's kick back, grab a strong latte, and challenge the status quo. Because in B2B, playing it safe won't get you ahead, it'll just get you ignored. If you're ready to shake things up and rethink how marketing really drives revenue, this is the place to be. Just fresh takes, rebel moves, and strong aroma of success. So, pour yourself a cup, lean in, and let's rethink B2B marketing, one rebellious sip at a time.
All right, so I'm guessing fractional CMOs have kind of caught your eye.
Huh? Yeah, they're definitely having a moment.
Maybe you've even thought about bringing one on board.
Right. Or maybe just curious about what the hype is all about.
Either way, you're in the right place.
Absolutely. We're diving deep today into the world of fractional CMOs.
Figuring out if they might just be that missing piece.
That you need to take your marketing to the next level.
Think of it like this.
You get the brains
An experience.
of a top-level marketing exec without needing to commit to a full-time hire.
Sound interesting.
I think so.
So what do these marketing masterminds actually do?
Well, what's fascinating is they don't just come in for like a quick fix.
Right, they're not just a Band-Aid.
They really dig into your business.
Make your goal.
Your challenges.
Your whole situation.
And then they craft a custom-fit strategy.
So you can actually hit those goals.
It's about getting you to that next level.
Okay, so let's break it down.
Let's get into the nitty-gritty.
What do fractional CMOs actually do day to day?
Yeah, what does that look like?
Our sources paint a pretty detailed picture.
Yeah, they really get into the weeds.
But instead of just listing it all off,
yeah, who wants to just hear a list?
let's imagine a real-world scenario.
Okay, I like it.
Say you're launching a new product,
Okay, exciting.
and it feels like you're kind of trying to fly a plane without a co-pilot.
Well, I've been there.
That's where a fractional CMO steps in.
Makes sense.
They help you navigate every step.
From market research
Competitive analysis.
to crafting that perfect brand message.
That really resonates with your target audience.
So they're like your co-pilot in a way.
Guiding you through all the turbulence of launching something new.
And making sure you have a smooth landing.
That's a really powerful image.
It is, isn't it?
I can already see how valuable that would be.
Absolutely.
But let's get specific.
Let's drill down.
Our source mentioned revenue engineering as a key responsibility.
Right. That's a big one.
And I'll admit, that sounds a little intimidating.
It does have kind of a technical ring to it.
Can you demystify it a bit for us?
Sure.
What does that even mean?
Think of it like fine-tuning an engine
Okay.
for peak performance.
I like that.
It's about making sure all your revenue-generating functions are aligned.
So like marketing and sales are working together
Customer success pricing the whole shebang.
to maximize growth.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm starting to see the big picture.
Good.
So they're not just focused on like one sliver of marketing.
Right. They're thinking holistically.
They're thinking about how all the pieces fit together.
Exactly.
But what about the actual benefits of bringing on a fractional CMO?
Right. Good question.
I mean, why not just hire a full-time CMO if you can afford it?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
So let's say you're a company that's growing really rapidly.
Okay. Makes sense.
You need that high-level expertise now,
Right.
but maybe you're not quite ready for the financial commitment.
Of a full-time CMO.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where a fractional CMO comes in.
You get that C-level experience and guidance.
Without that big, scary price tag.
It's like having access to this secret weapon
I love that analogy.
without breaking the bank.
Exactly.
Our source also highlighted speed and flexibility as major perks.
For sure.
It sounds like you can really tailor the engagement
To your specific needs.
and get things moving quickly.
Which can be critical these days.
Totally. Now, this is where things get interesting.
Ooh, I'm intrigued.
So we've been talking about all these awesome benefits.
Right. It sounds amazing.
But I'm sure some listeners are thinking, wait a minute,
Yeah.
doesn't that sound a lot like what a consultant does?
Right.
So how do you differentiate between a fractional CMO and a consultant?
That's a great question. And it's something people get tripped up on a lot.
Yeah, it could be confusing.
The key difference is really in the level of involvement
Right.
and
Yeah.
leadership.
So a consultant is more like,
Think of them as a specialist
okay,
who comes in to kind of diagnose a specific problem,
okay,
offers their expert advice, and then they step back. A fractional CMO takes a much more holistic approach.
so if a consultant's like a specialist surgeon
I like that.
brought in for a specific procedure,
Yeah.
a fractional CMO is more like your primary care physician
Exactly.
who understands your overall health and is there for the long haul.
That's a great way to put it.
So they're actively involved,
In the execution of your marketing efforts,
working alongside your team,
to actually implement the strategies.
and make sure everything is successful.
They're not just giving advice, they're rolling up their sleeves.
Okay, now I'm really seeing the difference.
Good.
And our source actually provides a table that breaks it down.
Oh, that's helpful.
We'll definitely link that in the show notes.
Awesome.
But let's get practical.
Yeah, let's talk real world.
What are some scenarios where one might be a better fit than the other?
Okay, so let's go back to that product launch example.
Love it.
You might hire a consultant to help you do market research
Okay.
and develop your go-to-market strategy.
This is like the initial plan.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
But when it comes to actually leading the charge,
Okay.
overseeing the implementation, making sure the launch is a success.
Right, like actually making it happen.
That's where a fractional CMO really shines.
So they're not just giving you the playbook.
Yeah.
They're on the field calling the play.
Exactly. They've got the experience to navigate all the complexities.
And since our listener is likely in the B2B space,
Right, B2B is our bread and butter.
let's talk about some scenarios where a fractional CMO.
Can be super impactful for B2B companies.
Yes, perfect. I'm ready to dive into those B2B specifics.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
So one of the biggest challenges that B2B companies face
Okay,
is generating demand.
makes sense.
And not just any demand.
Right, yeah.
It's got to be the right kind of demand.
So how do they do that?
You want those ideal
The
customers
ones who are actually interested in what you're offering.
are ready to engage.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's more nuanced than just getting eyeballs on your website.
I can see how that would be a bigger puzzle.
It is.
So how does a fractional CMO tackle that?
Like, what's their secret sauce for B2B demand gen?
Mhm.
It's not so much a secret formula as it is a strategic approach.
Okay.
Really data-driven.
Data-driven. I like it.
Let me give you a real-world example.
Okay, perfect.
We worked with this B2B software company.
Okay.
They were really struggling to generate qualified leads.
I bet that's a common problem.
It is. They were doing a lot of marketing activities,
Okay.
but they weren't seeing the results.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of businesses can relate to that.
It's easy to get caught up in just doing a bunch of stuff
Right, just checking things off the list.
without really focusing on what's actually working.
Yeah, that's actually moving the needle.
So we brought in a fractional CMO,
Okay,
and they did a deep dive into their data,
love it.
analyzed their existing customer base,
Okay.
figured out their ideal customer profile.
So, like, who are they really trying to reach?
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And based on that, they helped refine their messaging,
Yeah,
target their marketing more effectively,
makes sense.
and optimize their sales funnel.
So it was like fine-tuning the whole machine.
Exactly. And the result was pretty amazing.
I bet what happened.
Their lead conversion rate increased by 20%.
Wow, it's huge.
And they saw a significant boost to their bottom line.
That's what it's all about.
It is.
It sounds like having that data-driven perspective.
Yeah, you got to know your numbers.
But also the experience to know what to do with that data.
Right. It's not just about collecting data.
It's about using it.
You got to turn it into action.
Our source also mentioned brand positioning
Oh, yeah. That's crucial.
as another area where a fractional CMO can make a real difference.
Especially for B2B companies.
Right, because it's not just about having a cool logo
No.
or a catchy tagline
It's about crafting a brand.
that really resonates with your audience.
And in the B2B world, it's all about establishing credibility
Okay,
and trust.
so people actually take you seriously.
You need to articulate your value proposition.
Make it clear what you bring to the table.
Differentiate yourself from the competition
Show why you're different.
and connect with your audience.
Not just on a logical level.
But on an emotional level, too.
Yeah, people buy from people.
They do.
So a fractional CMO can help you develop that brand strategy.
That really speaks to your ideal customer
So it's about standing out,
in a crowded marketplace.
but also making sure your message is laser focused.
On the right people.
So you're not just shouting into the void.
Exactly. You want to be heard by the people who matter.
Now, something else that came up in our source
Okay.
was this idea of a fractional CMO acting as a bridge
Yeah. Okay.
between sales and marketing.
Yeah, that's a big one.
That age-old struggle to get those two teams in sync.
The classic sales and marketing divide.
Right. It's like they speak different languages sometimes.
They do, but a fractional CMO can help bridge that gap. They can be the translator.
I like that.
Someone who understands both sides.
Makes sense.
They help make sure that your marketing efforts
Okay.
are actually supporting your sales goals.
So it's not just about generating leads. It's about generating the right leads
And then nurturing them effectively.
So everything's working together smoothly.
That's the goal.
And a fractional CMO can help you actually make that happen.
They can implement the systems,
The processes.
create a shared definition of what a qualified lead is,
Okay.
establish clear communication channels.
So everyone's on the same page.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've covered a lot
We have.
what a fractional CMO does.
Yeah.
The benefits they bring.
Especially for B2B.
But let's shift gears a bit
Okay.
and talk about the
How's the nitty-gritty?
So let's say our listener's thinking,
Okay.
this sounds amazing. I need one of these.
Right.
What are the next steps?
Okay, good question.
How do you actually find and hire a fractional CMO?
Well, the first step is to really define your needs,
Okay.
your expectations.
What are you hoping to get out of this?
What are your specific marketing challenges?
What are you struggling with?
What are your goals?
What do you want to achieve?
What kind of expertise are you looking for?
Like, what skills do they need to have?
It's like creating a fractional CMO wanted poster
I love that.
outlining exactly what you're looking for.
Perfect. So you know who you're searching for.
Exactly. Once you have that clear picture,
Okay.
then you can start exploring your options.
Okay, so where do you look?
Well, networking is always a great starting point.
Okay.
Talk to your peers,
People you trust.
go to industry events,
See who's out there.
and see if anyone has experience working with fractional CMOs.
Yeah, word of mouth is so powerful.
It is, especially in the business world.
It's like getting a trusted referral.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what if your network doesn't turn up any leads?
Right. What if nobody knows anyone?
Well, there are online platforms now
Oh, interesting.
that specialize in connecting businesses with fractional CMOs.
So it's like a matchmaking service.
It is. You can search based on your industry,
Okay.
your budget, your specific needs.
That's super helpful.
So you can really narrow it down.
Okay, so let's say you found a few potential candidates.
Okay, I like it.
What should you look for when you're evaluating them?
Experience is obviously important.
Makes sense.
You want someone with a proven track record,
They've actually done this before,
ideally in your industry or a similar one.
so they understand your world.
But it's not just about ticking boxes on a resume.
Right. It's got to be more than that.
You also want to look for someone who's a good cultural fit,
Yeah. You're essentially bringing on a new leader.
even if it's on a fractional basis.
So personality matters.
It does. And don't be afraid to ask for references,
Okay.
case studies.
Talk to other businesses they've worked with.
Get a sense of their approach, their style.
It's like doing your due diligence.
Exactly. You want to make sure it's the right partner.
Okay, so you've narrowed it down to a few top contenders.
All right.
What's the next step?
Well, it's always a good idea to start with a consultation call,
Okay.
a chance for you to chat, discuss your needs in more detail,
Let them ask questions about your business.
see if there's good chemistry.
It's like a first date for business.
I like that.
You're seeing if you're compatible.
Exactly.
So what are some key questions to ask during that call?
You can ask about their process for developing a marketing strategy,
Yeah.
their experience with specific marketing channels,
That are relevant to your business.
how they approach working with sales teams.
Yeah, because that's important.
And you can also ask for examples of how they've helped other businesses.
See if they've actually achieved similar goals.
Exactly, but it's not just a one-way street.
Right? They'll have questions for you too.
They'll want to understand your budget,
How much you can spend.
your internal resources, your current marketing activities,
What you're already doing.
and your long-term goals.
Where you want to go.
It's about finding that sweet spot.
Where your needs and their expertise align.
Exactly.
But let's be realistic.
Oh,
Not all partnerships are a perfect match.
that's true.
What if things don't work out? What if you realize it's not the right fit?
That can happen.
So what do you do?
That's why it's so important to have a clear agreement in place
Okay.
right from the beginning,
So like a contract.
outlining the scope of work, the payment terms,
Right.
and the process for ending the engagement if needed.
So it's like a prenup for your business relationship.
I love that analogy.
Keeping sure everyone's protected.
And that there's a clear exit strategy.
In case things go south.
I also recommend starting with a trial period
Okay.
for a smaller project.
So you can kind of test the waters
Exactly. See how the partnership works in practice.
before making a big commitment.
That's a great tip.
We've covered so much ground.
We have.
We've explored what a fractional CMO does,
The benefits.
how to find one.
Hire one.
But before we wrap up,
Yeah.
our source had this really interesting point
Oh, yeah.
about the future of marketing leadership.
Okay.
They suggested that this idea of fractional leadership
Right.
might become even more prevalent
Mm-hmm.
in today's fast-paced,
Yeah. Everything's changing so quickly.
ever-evolving business world,
Makes sense.
because Businesses need to be more agile,
Right.
more adaptable,
Got to be able to pivot.
and having access to that specialized expertise
Uh-huh.
on demand
When you need it.
without that long-term commitment.
Yeah, that can be a game changer.
It's like having a whole team of marketing superheroes
I love that.
ready to swoop in and save the day.
On speed dial.
Exactly.
That's a great image.
But jokes aside,
Yeah.
it makes sense,
It does.
especially for companies that are growing like crazy
Right.
or navigating all this uncertainty.
The market's a wild ride these days.
And this trend isn't limited to marketing.
That's right.
We're seeing it across the board.
From finance to HR to operations.
Businesses are realizing
Yeah.
that they don't need to build these massive internal teams.
To get the best talent,
It's like the future of work is becoming
more flexible,
more project-based
and that opens up a ton of possibilities.
for everyone involved.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into fractional CMOs,
Okay.
I have one final question for you.
Shoot.
If you could offer one piece of advice
Okay.
to our listeners
Yeah.
who are thinking about taking the plunge,
Bringing on a fractional CMO.
what would it be?
I would say don't be afraid to embrace this model.
Okay.
It's not a sign of weakness
Right.
or that you can't handle things internally.
Yeah, it's not about admitting defeat.
It's a strategic decision.
It's about being smart.
And it can unlock so much value for your business.
It's about recognizing
Yeah.
that you don't have all the answers.
Nobody does.
And sometimes bringing in that outside perspective
that fresh pair of eyes,
can really spark some growth and innovation.
that's such a great point.
It's about having the humility to say,
Yeah.
hey, I don't know everything,
Exactly.
and being open to new ways of doing things.
Because the old ways don't always work.
And who knows, maybe embracing the fractional CMO model
Right.
could be that secret weapon.
That pushes your business to the next level.
The beauty of it is,
Yeah.
it's not about finding a magic bullet
No,
or a one-size-fits-all solution.
every business is different
It's about finding the right fit,
for your specific needs
your goals,
and building a partnership
that lets you leverage that expertise.
to achieve amazing things.
Well said. I think our listeners have a lot to think about
They do.
after this deep dive.
Lots to chew on.
They've learned what a fractional CMO does,
The benefits.
how to find one,
Hire one.
and hopefully they've come away with a new appreciation
Yeah.
for this whole idea of fractional leadership
It's a powerful model.
and all the possibilities it unlocks.
Absolutely.
So to our listeners, we leave you with this final thought.
Okay. Hit us with it.
In a world where agility and adaptability are key,
Yeah. You got to be able to move fast.
could embracing the fractional CMO model be that strategic advantage?
That sets you apart.
We encourage you to explore that possibility.
See where it leads you.
And if you're ready to take that first step,
Okay.
remember, our source recommends reaching out to
Akbar Jaffer.
at marketing-qa.com.
He's the man.
Until next time,
Keep driving deep.
and keep exploring.
Those new possibilities.
Happy marketing, everyone.